is Dianita Heni Permata Sari. I'm from English Education Study Program, State Islamic University of UIN Raden Intan Lampung. I made this video for my sociolinguistic assignment. Sociolinguistic is one of the subjects that I take in this semester. In this video, I will share my understanding about code switching and code mixing. But before I explain about the code mixing and code switching, I will tell you about sociolinguistic. So, what is sociolinguistic? Sociolinguistic is a study that concerns with language in social and cultural context, especially how people with different identities like age, race, ethnicity, and class speak, and also how their speech change in different situations. According to Nancy Pearson, 1980, sociolinguistics is developing subfield of linguistics which takes speech variation as its focus, viewing variation or its social context. Sociolinguistics is concerned with the correlation between such social factors and linguistic variation. What is code switching? Code switching is the one of alternative ways to bilingual of two or more language in the same conversation. According to Hames, defines code switching as a common term for alternative use of two or more language, varieties of language, or even speech style. While Kamba defines code switching as mixing of word, phrase, and sentence from two distinct grammatical systems across sentence boundaries within the same speech event. Code switching is a term in linguistics referring to using more than one language or variety in conversation. Sometimes the bilingual speaker getting problem when they having a conversation with another bilingual, so they switch their language from code to another in the contraction of sentence to make the interlocutor understand. Sometimes they do it with the same language background, and it may do so many times. This phenomenon can be observed in the following example. 4 major types of switching. The first, Intrasentential switching, in which switch occur within a clause or a sentence boundary. It can take the form such as code changing, code mixing, insertion, and concurrent lexicalization. For example, menurutku that's a good idea. Open your book and kerjakan halaman 10. From example above includes code changing or complete shift to another language system at the major constituent boundaries. And second, text switching. Text switching, in which text and certain set phrase in one language are inserted into an utterance otherwise in another. For example, teacher, benar, that's a good answer. Bagus, good job Santi. The word, that's a good answer, can be considered a text. Sometimes emblematic code switching or text switching can take the form of intrasentential switching where categorical equivalence exists between the two languages involved. And the third, intersentential switching. Intersentential switching, in which a change of language occurs at sentence level where each clause or sentence is in one language or the other. Example, teacher, have you done? Student, sudah Pak. Teacher, may I see? Student, ini Pak. From example above, intersentential code switch was to relate speech that had already occurred in other conversation in English, and it more frequent than intrasentential. And the last is intra-word switching. Intra-word switching, in which a chain occurs within a word boundary. Example, ujian hari ini adalah oral. The word of oral is considered instance of speech borrowing, where the speaker borrow an English word. On the other hand, Milrow and Peter define code switching as a term intrasentential used for switch within the sentence, in contrast with intersentential used for switch between sentences. Although some commentators have seen code switching as reflecting a lack of language ability, most contemporary scholars consider code switching to be a normal and natural product of interaction between the bilingual or multilingual speakers' language.
Which country do you like best?
From the people,
Yeah.
Indonesia,
From the people Indonesia, and then?
most friendly, I think, in Indonesia, and the whole facilities, Japan.
Japan,
Yeah,
and transportation. Ngerti nggak kamu ya? Jadi kalau kan aku tanya negara mana, kan dia pernah tinggal di Indonesia, di Thailand, di Jepang karena mengikuti Irfan Bahdim yang pindah-pindah. Aku tanya dia lebih suka negara mana, dia bilang kalau orang-orangnya dia suka di Indonesia.
Betul.
Tapi kalau fasilitas transportasi terutama dia lebih suka di Jepang. How about Thailand? How about Thailand?
Thailand was nice too. I love Bangkok.
You love Bangkok because you can shop there cheap.
Betul.
Thailand was nice too. Food was good.
In this video, Heni Rose, the presenter, is using Indonesian language, which is her native language. But when she talked to Jennifer, she switched her native language into English in order to make Jennifer understand about what she's talking about. And when she talked to the audience that they are Indonesian people with Indonesian language as their native language, she changed her English to Indonesian in order to make the audience understand about what they talking about. Code mixing. Code mixing is the other phenomenon that closely related to code switching. It usually occurs when conversants use both languages together, switch between two languages to the extent that they change from one song to the other in the course of a single utterance. Code mixing takes place without a change of topic and can involve various levels of language such as phonology, morphology, grammatical structure, and lexical items. We couldn't avoid that the first language is a big effect in the second language. Interaction and mixing between language result in various language. Most of the people in the society mix their language with other language by borrowing or using piece of French language, even sometimes they are still influenced by first language. According to Kahru in Nujam, defines code mixing as the term refers to the use of one or more language for a consistent transfer of linguistic units from one language into another, and by such a language mixture developing a new restricted or not so restricted code of linguistic interaction. Related to Kahru defines, we can see the reality in the case when students saying something in English, they mix some language in the sentence that they don't know how to say in English. It means combine the language between Indonesian and English. For example, have you done your homework, Hasan? Yes, sir. Saya sudah kerjakan my homework. Maaf, sir. kemarin I was sick. For example, about the student use the piece of English word to answer the teacher question. It because the student doesn't know how to say in English. However, grammatically, the sentence of student is also suitable for grammar in English. Code mixing is one of the major kinds of language choice which is subtler than code switching. In code mix sentence, piece of one language are used while the speaker is basically using another language. The piece of the other language are afterwards, but they can also be pieces of later units. From describing before, we can see that the definition of code mixing is limited to the shift of code found within one and the same clause or sentence.
Muna, don't cry. Kan Mami only say no. Muna no ya. It's okay. Mami nggak angry. Mami nggak marah. Ya. Muna nangis ya. Dangerous. Muna nggak boleh itu. Main itu gigi itu nggak boleh. Bisa nelak itu bahaya ya. Udah. Muna no crying. Crying ya. It's okay, Mon. Kan Mami only say Monel no ya. Udah, next time no ya. Aeroplane flying. Itu aeroplane. Flying aeroplane. Monel happy. Monel udah happy lagi.
In this video, mother mixing two languages that are Indonesian language and English in a sentence when she talked to her doctor. It is called code mixing. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.